guys, it's me again, Nippon from Nippon Studio. So I admit it, I've been gone forever, like really forever. But whatever, I'm here and we all gather here to learn some very cool stuff and some new visual effects so we can apply into our own works in the next future. So if you're new for this channel, you can go back and watch my old tutorials and video and stuff like that. I know there's not much of the English tutorial, but they're somewhat there, so you can go on and check them out. But however, I think for this tutorial, some of you guys might already like forgotten it already. Even myself already forgotten it. So, what are we gonna learning today? Just kidding. It's gonna based on my video which called The Dark Matter. But before we get into that, I want to sing a song to celebrate our 6th years of Nippon Art of Media. So let's go. And that is pure music. So I have to thanks for everyone that keep watching my videos, and I know this has been like very long time now. This has been like a 6th year of Nippon Art of Media, and I'm glad that you all still watching my videos and tutorial and stuff like that, and I'm very proud and very honored to be able to do this for all of you. So you all can learn and do this type of stuff in your own work in the future. Alright, let's get to the point. So this is gonna be the example of what we're going to be learning today. Alright, as you can see, here you can see the camera, it's slowly zoom in and you can see the glowy eyes of the character, which is me. Alright, it's gonna come in like this. So this is the outcome when you not take a shower. Just kidding. And obviously you can see the movement of the texture and whatever that goes along the face motion. Alright, something like this. And the way that we working with this effect, it's not that complicated, it's quite simple, but at least you have to know the foundation or the principle of how you're doing it. So, and then you can apply into your own work. Basically, you just have to know how to do this stuff and then you can do it your own. And what we're going to focus on for this tutorial, that would be a motion tracking, as you can see here on the face. I mean, you could see like all the wrinkle and the way it moves is going to move along with the face expression, which is like, you know, the face motion, something like this. And you can do something more fancy than this one, but however, so this is gonna be the principle of what we're going to be learning. So, you know, just start from the easy to hard or more advanced. So after learning this, you can do it with your own techniques and stuff. But even though I'm only showing you this, but actually you can do, there's so many things more than this one, such as something like this.
Hey, I'm Tony Stark. ไม่ใช่อะผมนิพนธ์เจ้าเจริญพร
Alright, I think that's enough for now. Let's go and learn some stuff. Alright, so at the beginning, at least you have to have some sort of your footage of your face on or somebody's face. Something like this. So as you can see, I shot this on green screen, you know, put my head up and then give it a little glimpse of creepy smile. Alright, so the next thing, we can just trim it to make it short. I mean, as you know, as much as we can. So just enough that we want. So at least I want to go to the frame where we can see like a lot of motion. So I'm going to drag it to a new composition, just like that. So the next thing is, I'm not sure that if the other version of After Effects you might have it or not, but you can check it out. But I believe that the After Effects, the under version of CC, which is like Creative Clouds, they might not gonna have it. So you might want to check that out. So first of all, you have to mask out your face. So you could use the Eclipse tool. So just make the, you know, the shape of the face, something like that. And you can adjust it in such a way that it match more to your face. Alright, and as you should know, we should start it from the front, so we could track it from the front to the back. And then I could open up the tracking menu, but if they're not showing, you could go to menu and then hit tracker. So if you open up the tracker, you're not gonna see much of it. I mean, you're gonna see like track camera, track motion, warp stabilizer, or stabilize motion. But once when you click on that masking, can you see it? Yes, there you go. You're gonna see a extra menu, I guess. You know, it's gonna show you on method, and then you can click it. There's so many stuff that you can click, like position, rotation, and stuff like that. And the last one that we need is face tracking detailed features. So this is why I mentioned to you, I'm not sure if the other version do they have it or not. So you might want to check that out. So we're gonna click on that menu and then hit analyze forward, like, you know, just tracking like regular tracking, like we've done it like a million times. I know it's, yeah, you get the point. So you're gonna spend a little bit time on the tracking, but the thing is very obvious for us right now. As you can see, there's appears to be a point. There's like been a tracking point, which is really amazing for us. I mean, how amazing it is, I mean, just wait till you see it. And again, I mean, the other thing you have to know is there is a limit that it can do, you know. So this is why we have to learn about the principle before we jump into to do our own stuff. Alright, so after when it's done, so you're gonna get something like this. So basically you can go to the mask and then just select it to none. So what we have it right now is gonna appear in effect controls. You're gonna see like this menu, which is face track points. So if you're familiar with using a puppet pin, you're probably gonna stand it right away. But if you're not familiar with it, well, we'll learn it. So the next thing that we need is the background or the texture or whatever that you want to apply into your face. So after I import it in, let's say if this one. So again, this tutorial, it's not going to teach you to do like a copycat from the original videos, but it only teaches you the principle or the way how to do it. Okay, so don't complain it too much, like, why is it not like the original, like blah 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 and stuff. I mean, shut it, you know. Alright, so you could just drag it down into the timelines layer and then scale it down just a touch. And then I could do blending mode to multiply. Like right now, I can just try to aim it where that I want this texture to be on my face. Alright, somewhat like this. I mean, again, I could add something more a little bit on the bottom part. I could just hit Ctrl D, like duplicate, and then just trying to get into the point where I want it. Alright, somewhat like this. Maybe I could just crank it up just a bit. so I could see the texture more clear. So I mean, I could try adjust with gamma correction and also push up the exposure. Alright, something like this. Okay. And after that, I have to pre-compose both of them. You can shift both of them and then hold on Control Shift C, C as a cat, and then just move all attributes, and then just hit OK. And as you can see, I mean, basically they just like mix two of the layers into one composition. So you could just right click blending mode and you do the same thing, multiply. So we're gonna get the same outcome. So the next thing is we can use the puppet pin right away, but the problem is we don't know where's the tracking point at. Like, you know, the point that in the face track points, like these points. So you could just click on face track points. And since we're not gonna use the whole points of this face, we probably gonna use just for some certain part. So I'm just gonna hit Control R. So it's gonna bring you like a ruler. So you could just drag it from the outside. So it's gonna bring you like these purple lines, top and bottom, to make like a marks where's the point gonna be. It works the same thing like in Photoshop, you know, if you using it. Alright, maybe somewhat like that. I mean, for the other points, I mean like the mouth and the corner of the mouth, and you probably don't need it because we already know where it is. Announcements. If you guys wanna keep up or catch up with my whatever doing it on Facebook, I mean, you could search on Nippon Studio. It's a fan page. No, you can't subscribe it. You can hit like or follow. I don't know. I mean, I pretty much update so many stuff on it. Or if you want to follow along with my nonsense live posting on Instagram, you could follow me as well. There are so many stuff that's going on. Also, I post it on English and in Thai, so you should be able to understand it. So whatever. I think that's the point of having IG, right? Who knows? Alright, back to the works. At least we know now where's the point gonna be. So at least I could just go back to the pre-comp, which is this one. Alright, we might get a little confused now. So let's name it texture. Alright, and then I could just use a puppet pin. Okay, just point to where we already make a mark. Over here, and here, and here, and there. You know, you get the point. I mean, the point. Really the point. Okay. Alright, I think we got everything we need now. So the next thing that we need is not that much difficult. What we need is just the parent. So as you can see on the track points, you know, there's already the points on its position. So what we can do is just parent all of them. So you could just open it up on the puppet pin. Okay, let's move it a bit. So okay, let's find the first spot. Okay, let's start from the shin. It's on puppet pin 4. So you could just hit on keyframing. So I have to go on a face track point. And then you can see like it's already have the names for it. So the shin, you know, obviously just go to the shin point there. Alright, okay, so let's stretch it just a bit so we could see all of it. Alright, so basically you have to hold on Alt and then hit on that keyframe. It's gonna open up the stuff, you know. But only thing that we need is that parent menu, and then you just parent to chin. And that's it. It's just, and the next thing is mouth. So let's go to the next one. So go to mouth. And as you can see, there are so many points on the mouth. So what we need right now is the mouth bottom. So just do the same thing. Hold on Alt and then parent it. Like that. And the next thing is words. Oh, okay. Mouth on the top. So it's, hey, mouth top. Again, hold on Alt and then parent it to the mouth top. and also the mouth on the left. But this is where you have to sort of understanding, because every time that when it's tracked and it say mouth left, the effect itself, it names after from a character point of view. What I'm trying to say is mouth left, when it say left, it means left for the character, not left in our perspective. You know what I'm saying? I hope you do. So that means that when we see that point, it has to be on mouth right. Just parent it like that. Alright, so let's get to the next point. So on right mouth, it would be on left mouth, which is mouth left, sorry. Alright, now just the nose. Okay, let's see, where is it? Oh, here. Alright, so you're gonna see there's so many noses, like nose bridge, nose tip, like, and left nostril and right nostril. So we only need the top part, so which is the tip. So just parent to nose tip. Alright. What else? Okay, on the face, which is on the cheek. So you could go to cheek and chin. There you go. And then has to be cheek on the middle. So again, on our left, it would be on the right. So that would be a right cheek, middle. Alright, so from this step, I'm going to skip it because I believe that every one of you guys might understand how to do it already. So I'm going to skip that. Alright, so here, this is when we have everything on track. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Okay, somewhat like this. Again, I mean, I admit it, some of the point looks a little weird and offset. So, I mean, some of the point you can just delete it out. You know, okay, let's see, for example, like a chin. This one, just delete it. Alright, so the next thing that we need is, I can use the masking, which is, or the pen tool. But I think I'm going to do something similar to that. But I'm going to use null object, and then using track motion to track around the nose. And then analyze forward. It might take a little while to track. And edit target to null object 1, and then apply, and okay. So now we have the null object now. Alright, so after that I'm going to create a new solid, right click, new, and solid. And I'm going to parent to null object. That's where you're going to follow along with the face. So let's bring down opacity like 10. And then I'm going to use masking around the face. So what I'm trying to do is not to get into the other part. So I'm going to punch. So I'm going to push up the. So I'm going to push up the opacity around. So I'm going to push up the opacity back to 100. And also I could do the track matte. So I'm going to use the alpha matte. So if it doesn't show, you could click on F4, like very on top of your keyboard, and then bring the feather up just a little bit. Alright, something like this. And again, I mean, you can adjust it in such a way that to make the whole thing cover on the face. Alright, something like this would do. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, let's take a look. Alright, I think I want to remove the puppet pin on the cheek. It looks weird. And the other one too. Okay. So it really depends on the tracking points that you have. Alright, so the next thing is, let's see if we want to add something else, like something on the eyes. You know, okay. So I'm going to select on our original footage and then go to animation and go to track in Mocha AE. So I have to say this software, or I don't know, it's really helping us on tracking very, very much. Alright, so I'm just using X-spine and then do some masking like that, and then track forward and just let it go. Okay, let's come back in After Effects, and what I can do is right click, new and solid. So okay, I'm gonna do a white. Okay, and then let's do a little like circle-ish. Okay, let's go back to Mocha, and then I go into export tracking data, and I'm going to use After Effects transform data and then copy to clipboard, and then come back in After Effects, right click, new and null object, and then you can just paste it, you know, Control V, and then just parent it to that null object. So let me scale it down just a touch and put it on the eye spot. Okay, something like this. So I can track it again in Mocha onto the other eyes, but again, I mean, tag backward. So it worked the same way like we did in After Effects, you know. Alright, let's go back in After Effects. Okay, let's do adjusting on the eye. Alright, I might feather it out just a bit. Or maybe expand it just a bit. Or you could do like the whole eyes, you know. You see? You see? Something like this. I mean, I can duplicate it again. One more, and then I would decrease mask feather. And then I would do something like kind of small circle. Something like that. Well, I think it's too big. Let me scale it down. Okay, feather it out just a touch. Okay, somewhat like this. Alright, so I'm going to duplicate both of them and put it up. And then I'm just gonna do it just in case for the other eyes. And then, you know, do everything pretty much the same, but just for the other eyes. And then I just create null object. And then let's go back in Mocha. You can just like copy and then paste it. Control V. And then I just hold on shift both of them and then parent it to our null object. And then you're gonna get something like this. Alright. So I mean, for this part, I mean, you can, you know, adjust it in such a way that you want it. Again, it's not really a copycat to the original, but you know, just to get the idea and the principle. So right now, I think you can see now like how much opportunity that you could use this effect in there so many different ways. So right now I'm going to key out the background, and I don't think I have to teach you guys this. I mean, there's plenty of tutorial out there that teaching about keying and, you know, get rid of the background. Alright, so after I key out the whole thing, then I could just like, okay, let's name it. Okay, name it man, and I just drag it down into a new composition, and then let's put on background so I can import it in and drag it down like that. Of course, I can create into a 3D layer by creating new camera. And again, I'm not going to go that deep into the details of doing a 3D background or something like that. Alright, so I might have to adjusting the background. So I'm going to drag down the exposure and then crank it down just a touch to make it a little darker. And also I can make some blur by using fast blur. Okay, let's try 10. Alright, not bad. Alright, I'm going to adjust it on a man now, which is a guy, a person. So using exposure, bring the exposure down just a touch, and also a gamma correction. Something like that. And also using hue and saturation, bring the saturation down a bit. Okay, something like this. Okay, and now let's bring in letterbox. I know that this letterbox is very, very small, you know, narrow. But again, it's really up to you, you know. Alright, so let me go back and just on a camera movement just a bit. Maybe pull it out just a touch, so we can see everything from the beginning point to the end point. Alright, something like this. So the next thing that we can do that you already saw on my example videos, which is the dust and debris that flying around. I mean, you could just find those anywhere, or you could do it yourself and put it on. But again, I'm not going to go into that because it's pretty easy and simple to do it. But the other thing that I want to teach is the blur depth. So what I can do is just create a new solid by right click, new and solid. Let's choose it white. And then I'm going to turn it on into 3D layer, maybe a little bigger, and then bring down the opacity. Alright, just just at least we can see the whole thing. And then I could just masking just the face part. Okay, and then I could bring the opacity up to 100%, and also F, which is mask feather, and bring up the mask feather too. And then you can adjust it in such a way that you want. And if some of you guys already know what I'm going after, I think you probably can like, but if you not, I mean, don't worry. So after that, I'm going to pre-comp this layer by hold on Control Shift C, cat. And then I'm going to move all attribute and then hit OK. So it's going to open up the new composition, and then you have to create a new solid, which is the background. Let's do it black. And let's put it underneath it. Okay, if I go back into this composition, we're not going to get something that we actually needed. The reason is because it's not really moving anything when it's supposed to move along with the position of the face. So I'm just going to copy camera and then Control C, which is copy, and Control V. So right now, everything's going to move according to the camera. So I'm just going to name it blur map. So I'm going to shut it off. We're not going to use it. What? Why are we bothered to... Oh, don't worry, okay? just hang on there. Okay, so I'm going to create a new adjustment layer by right click, new, and then adjustment layer. Okay, let's drag it down under the letterbox. And then I'm going to go to blur and sharpen, and then throw it down camera lens blur. As you can see, everything gonna be blurred now. So this is something it's very useful that only camera lens blur can do, because it has a feature called blur map. So we could just using our blur map that we just created, so which is the first one. So you could just select on it. Alright, as you can see now, the face is blurred and the background is focused, which is not something that we want. So you could just like hit on invert blur map. But as you can see now, we get something different now. The background is blurred and the face is focused. This is something is sort of like creating kind of like depth of field, kind of like, So you could push up some more blur radius. Let's try 20. You're gonna see something like this. So again, if it's too much, you can decrease it. If you want it more, you can increase it. That's it. Okay, I mean, I can try like 10. Well, maybe 15. Alright, somewhat. I think I like it now. I mean, and again, with a shape, I mean, you could adjust into whatever shape that you want. So, okay, let's say it's good for now. I think there's something a little bit off and with, I think it has to do with the shirt. So I can go back to a man composition, create a new adjustment layer, and then I can use exposure, drag it down, and then let's bring down the exposure and then mask it out just a touch, and then using subtract, feather it out, adjust it just on a jacket part, something like this. Okay, and let's come back there. That's cool. Alright, it's darkened now. Alright, so okay, let's name it camera lens blur there. And also the background, I want to adjust it just a touch, a little darker, just make it a little scarier. Alright, okay, somewhat like this. Alright, beautiful. What? No, I don't think it's beautiful, it's scary. Oh, whatever you want to call it. Okay, there's another thing that I like to do it, which called light wrap. Like light wrapping, like when the light is affecting with our object in the shot. So it's going to make the whole things look more seamless, and it feels like your character really in the set. So in this case, which is the light from the background, so I could just like right click, new and solid, and using the color background. And then I'm going to drag it to underneath the letterbox. And then using Eclipse to just something like that. And then hit F to bring up the feather it out. And then I could do blending mode on screen. Alright, maybe adjust it just a bit. I mean, you can increase the feather however you want. I mean, as you can see now, there's gonna be like the light that, you know, shining and affecting our character. I mean, it depends on you, you know, if you want to do it, you can. If you don't want to do it, you can as well. So let's bring down opacity just a touch, around 50. I think it's good now. So again, I mean, on blur map, you can try something different, you know, like you want to start like everything is blur and then it's focus. So you can go back to your blur map composition and then keyframe on opacity. Like, you know, start like from 0 and then up to 100. Okay, maybe just stretch it just a bit. Okay, let's see. Alright, as you can see it, see, the eye is scary, glowy now. So again, I mean, if you play it, you're gonna see like, you know, it start out blur and then more focus on that. So I think this is the final product now. And I know it's not gonna be like the original, but you know, now we see how it works now. So you can do it so many different ways that you want. Or you can try something a little bit different, something like this. Jump scare alert. Oh, sorry, too late. Alright, as you can see, you know, you can do something like this too. I mean, it's really helping, you know, you'd have to like, oh, I have to put all the paint into the face. I mean, dang, you know. So I think we could wrap up on this one now. Okay, let's go take a look on the next one. So this is something that you can change and also apply into a different way of using this effect now. Here, as you can see now, there's so many things that going on. Like all the bruises and also the cuts and the stitches and stuff like that. And I have to admit it, you know, all the points, sometimes it doesn't track well. I mean, you could, or you can use Mocha to track them or something like that. But again, pretty much most of the time it does pretty good job. Okay, but as you can see now, it's pretty okay, you know, somewhat like this. And I have to say this again, you know, you have to learn about what is the limit of this effect, because once when you know it, you would know right away that you can't really move much of your face, you know, you can't just turn around or something like that. I mean, I think you can, but you just have to work in more advanced stuff like that. But again, since now you already know all the principle, now you can be able to tell and know the limits of it. So this is kind of like another trick that you have to know it, which is the motion blur. Alright, as you can see now, when he moves, you can see now it's blur follow along with the movement. But as you can see, if I go down to the composition itself, you're not going to see motion blur that has been turned on, because I couldn't use that kind of motion blur. This is something that you have to know about using a puppet pin, that you can't use a motion blur in itself. It doesn't work that way, and this is why we have to use this effect instead, which is CC Force Motion Blur. As you can see, if I turn on and off. So again, I mean, you can adjust your blur level by using shutter angle. So this is something you must know in order to make a motion blur out of it. You know, maybe like your character moving so much and you like, what happened to motion blur? There's no motion blur. You know, that's the reason why we have to use CC Force Motion Blur. Alright, okay, let's take a look at the original. You know, something like this. You know. Alright, I think we can wrap this up and then go to the next one. Alright, as you can see this, you can see all the texture that moving along with the face and something like that. And especially you can carefully look on the mouth that it's really moving. And this is going to be another tip for you, which is the masking of the shape of the face. I mean, look at it. If you only want the texture to appear on the face, you have to mask it out frame by frame, pretty much. But actually we don't have to do that, because every time that when we track them, it's going to create these dots, and at the same time it's creating a shape of the face as well, which is the masking here. Okay, let's try. I'm using add. As you can see now, it's going to be a shape of the face. So basically you could just duplicate it and then, you know, turn it on to add something like that. And you can, using track matte of the texture, just using alpha matte. That's it. You know, without, okay, let's see, without the alpha matte, it's going to be something like this. But if I turn it on alpha matte, it's going to be like this. And again, admit it, it's not going to affecting, you know, the neck and the other part. But again, that's not the purpose of using this effect, you know. I mean, you could basically just using a normal tracking on, you know, on the neck or on the chest or something like that. But the reason I'm showing you this, because all the face is really intricate and very detailed, you know. That's why this feature is really helping us very much. Alright, I think we can wrap this up and then go on to the next one. Alright, let's take a look at this one. This is something is very more advanced now, and you're gonna see like how much more it can do. Okay, let's take a look.
Hey, I'm Tony Stark ไม่ใช่อะผมนิพันธ์เจ้าเจริญพร
Alright, as you can see it, you can say blah 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 and stuff like that, and you can see every movement of the face. And the most obvious thing that you can see is the mustache and also the eyebrows and the face expression, something like that. Alright, okay, let's take a look at the original. As you can see it, something like this. You know, from a very normal guy become a most handsome guy. I mean, I'm just joking. Again, I mean, I know that it's not like perfectly 100% realistic, but at least you get the point of how doing it, you know. I mean, you could fool somebody if you play something with that size. I mean, it's really realistic. But if you're getting closer, okay, gosh, forget it. And again, doing this kind of technique, it's not really just about the tracking point, you know. It's really have to do with compositing too. And if you ask me, how do you do it? I mean, you can go back here. Instead of using all the texture and stuff like that, I mean, you could just change it and make it to a face. That's it. It could be somebody's face, and then you can parent every movement into the point that we already done it before on face tracking points. And then you could just compose everything back together. And I'm just like compose everything back to my original face, which is this one. You see it? Something like this. And again, just add some little details like on the depth of field, like just like the one that we've learned it before. And then we're going to get this, and this is going to be our final product. And I believe you guys might already have an idea by now that what you can do with this effect. And it is something, it's fun and it's cool, you know. I mean, you could do pretty much what you can do, I guess, as long as you know the principle and you know the limits of how you can use it. But all in all, you have to use this effect wisely, you know. I mean, just don't make it too obvious or like too fake, you know. Just use something like very simple and very cool and seamless, you know. And then people are not going to be able to tell that is it in visual effects or is it a special makeup, just something like that, you know. But again, it's really help. Okay, I think we can wrap this up and then let's go to the next one. Alright, something like this. The same principle, same way, but you're just changing the texture on the face. And also, I mean, the teeth and stuff, I could just use a normal tracking. Alright, let's take a look at the mask. Alright, if I slowly show you, it's going to be something like that, you know, slowly appear. It's going to be slowly appears, and you know, it's going to be something like that. And I can also just masking, you know, these parts separately, like the hair and also the dress, you know. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, this is the hair and this is the dress. I mean, that's it. nothing super fancy or stuff like that. Of course, I mean, I do like a little special on the eyes, as you can see it. And you know, I just like crop out the eyes and just put the eyes in a different way, you know, a little like slant, I don't know. But this is the original and this is the after. I mean, I could just, so basically I just like freeze frame and then like put in a different way and put on the tracking point, and that's it. So after, when I compose everything back, it's going to be something like that. Again, see, you don't have to waste a lot of like makeup and dress up and something like that. But yeah, in a very limited of a perspective. I think that's a bad news. But at least it's a bad news in good news. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. But you know, you get the point. So by now, I think you all can have a very big picture in your head now of how you can use it and the possibility of using this effect into your own videos. And you know, you don't have to always do something like scary, something like it. You know, you can do something more like prettier or simpler, like the next one. Alright, something like this. As you can see, there's not much of a face movement in a way, but just very subtle of like, you know, moving under the eyes and stuff like that. And you know, you can see the eyes, glowy eyes, and a little freckles on the face. I mean, look at it, it's so pretty. I mean, you might ask like, what am I gonna use it for? I mean, who knows, who cares? I mean, you could use it for, I don't know, making a perfect being, or like an angel, or an elf, or a hobbit. No, hobbit doesn't count. Okay, forget it. So, okay, let's take a look at the original footage. So, I mean, I know it's my face. I don't have the hazel eyes, and I don't have that kind of eyebrows and stuff like that. But, you know, this is like the final. Just like, dang, perfecto. I mean, I know it looks somewhat like a little fake, but you know, it's not like as fake as like not real, but it's really something that very, you know, intricate. I mean, look at it. I mean, the eyelashes and stuff like that. Of course, I can't afford it to have all that like that. I mean, yeah, that's why the visual effects help, you know. So again, this is very open to you guys can create something very wonderful and very awesome in your own works. So I hope that everything that I teach you now, today, or whatever, you know, it's going to guide you through the whole process. It's going to give you a principle of how you can use it and which way you can use it. And again, there's so many varieties, different ways that you can use it in your own way. But I hope for the best that you all can create something very good and very cool from learning this tutorial. And beside that, now you know that how all things work, then you can be able to plan things ahead. You know, maybe put some tracking on your face, or not to move your face too much, or not too complex camera movement, not whatever that thing is, you know. So I'm hoping this tutorial would help you and guide you through the whole thing and help you understand more of using this effect. So I think that's it, guys and girls. Thank you for watching my tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time. I am Nippon from Nippon Studio. May God bless you, and bye bye.